It's a long way from Waikato to the White House, but Matamata-born businessman Chris Liddell has managed to secure a top spot among Donald Trump's staff. The 59-year-old former Microsoft and General Motors executive has been appointed Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy Coordination, tasked with overseeing and coordinating Mr Trump's policy process. And as Nita Blake-Person reports, it could be potentially good news for New Zealand's relationship with the US.
When Chris Liddell's promotion was announced, Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka tweeted her congratulations to her amazing friend and colleague, giving some insight into just how close he is to Trump's inner circle. Speaking to TVNZ shortly after Mr Trump was elected president, Mr Liddell said he was going to be a different president from what people were used to.
If you want to take an optimistic view, and I'm optimistic, I think he will actually come up with some policies that both sides will be willing to look at. Now, not all of them are going to be popular. Things like he will be anti-trade, for example, but infrastructure spending, he's probably likely to have that as part of one of the things that he's going to be doing initially, and both sides of the aisle are likely to want to do that.
The White House is a long way from Mr Liddell's Auckland upbringing, but his former principal from Mount Albert Grammar, Morris Hall, says he was always a capable student.
He has very good planning skills, and he'll do what he sees as wise, and it probably introduces a element of stability in Trump administration, which we all wonder where it's going, don't we?
Chris Liddell was the youngest of 5 children. His father was a teacher but died when he was young, leaving his mother to work a number of jobs to support the family. The Liddells never forgot the support they received after their father's death and recently started a $1 million scholarship fund for graduates. Mr Liddell attended Auckland University in Oxford before becoming a businessman. His extensive CV includes being the CEO of forestry firm Carter Holt Harvey and the Chief Financial Officer of Microsoft and General Motors. After wrapping up at General Motors, he went on to work for Mitt Romney during his 2012 presidential race against Barack Obama. Despite not being on the winning team, he wrote a book about lessons learned.
When the Republicans got into power, someone may have read the book, and Chris had some ideas in the book. I think they tapped Chris on the shoulder and said, "You better come and give us some advice," and I think he did that. And then I think they suggested, "Well, you may better come and work for us."
Barry Brown has known Mr Liddell for 15 years and worked with him in setting up the Next Foundation, a philanthropic fund for organisations working on social and environmental projects. Mr Liddell had to stand down from the foundation when he joined Donald Trump's staff, but Mr Brown says he's passionate about American politics and will relish the new role.
He said to me once, whenever I ring someone around America, chief executive of a company, to come and have a talk about things, they usually in my office the next day.
Mr Liddell has 2 children and is married to an American, his 3rd wife, but Mr Brown says he's still very much connected to New Zealand.
He's a Kiwi at heart, and he will just do whatever he can to help this country, provided obviously it doesn't conflict with what he's doing with the White House. But if he can put a good word in for New Zealand, I'm sure he would at any time.
The Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she's optimistic about having a New Zealander in the White House, but isn't holding her breath about what it will mean for the 2 countries.
You can always have a hope that having a New Zealander in such an important role will mean, of course, our relationship is strengthened. But look, I hold no expectation. He has a much wider job to do than just to sit and advocate for New Zealand and the United States.
And given the revolving door of staff in Donald Trump's administration, there are no guarantees on how long Chris Liddell will be in the job. Mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Nita Blake-Person, aho.